What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the No Scrubs Allowed podcast. It's just me here tonight. Seal is busy working. So I just have a couple things to talk about because the only thing really going on right now is the MLS is Back tournament. And I am actually writing about that every single night. A new post is coming out on noscrubsallowed.com. So head over there, check that out. I've already sent up the one for Sunday night, right? What's today? Yeah, if you guys are listening to it, it's Monday. So I've already sent that up. Tonight's games are LAFC and Houston and the LA Galaxy and Portland, right? So that's happening. So go check it out. Head to the website. You can also find it on Facebook or Twitter, facebook.com/no scrubs allowed. And then Twitter is at no scrub sports. They post there automatically as well. So go check it out, read them. Maybe if you want to find when your team's playing, then go read that day. That's fine too. But that's a big chunk of what the podcast could be about because that is the main sport that is going. But I don't really want to talk about that because I'm writing about it and I don't want to take away from the site views, obviously. So there's a couple things I do want to talk about. And I wanted to start out, I'm clicking the wrong button here. I wanted to start out by talking, we'll find that later, by talking about the UFC fight that we hyped up, and it turned out to be a great fight, but there were some decisions that went the wrong way, in my opinion. Well, there was really one decision that went the wrong way, but it was pretty exciting, and I'm just going to jump right to the title fights. Piotr Jan and Jose Aldo, however you want to say his name, they went up for Henry Cejudo's bantamweight title that he vacated when he retired. So that's what was going on there. Piotr Jan just destroyed Jose Aldo. Now, Aldo played well, fought well, he kicked, he was looking pretty good, but just time after time after time, slowly but surely, Piotr Jan just looked better. And in that fifth round, he knocked Jose out pretty much. And Aldo was down there with his head in his hands, not intelligently defending himself. And the ref had to stop it. Piotr Jan definitely deserves this. It kind of sucks that Cejudo's not there to defend it. But if he's truly retired, then somebody has to restart this weight class, and it might as well be Piotr Jan. So then the next fight, the next fight was the great fight in my opinion. Alexander Volkanovski was the champion of featherweight because he had just beat Max Holloway, who's one of the greatest champions in featherweight history. And Max Holloway says, whether he believes what he says, I don't really know. But the first fight, he says that he thinks he won the decision, but he actually lost the decision. And most viewers think that he lost to Alexander Volkanovski. Well, Volkanovski said, you know what, I'm going to finish it today and leave no doubt. And he did not finish it. And in my opinion, he didn't even win it. I think the first two rounds were Max Holloway. The last couple rounds could have been Volkanovski. But I think it was either 3-2 Holloway or 4-1 Holloway. So 48-47 Holloway or 49-46. But I would have leaned toward 48-47 Max Holloway. And really, if you look at the numbers just broken down over the entire fight, it looks like Volkanovski won. He landed most of the strikes. He landed more total strikes, more significant strikes, more to the head, more to the legs, less to the body, but that's okay. He had 3 takedowns, but he was 3 of 9 takedowns. But when you break it down round by round, I don't think Volkanovski won the entire round. It was really close, and it's not one of those that Holloway was robbed. But if he thought he lost the first or won the first one, he's definitely going to think that he won this one because this one he fought a lot better at. So it's kind of rough. You can't give him the third match right away because at this point he's lost twice. Whether it looks like he's been robbed or not, he lost twice. So That's just a pity for him. He's going to have to go back and actually earn it by beating some other guys. But the way that Max Holloway looked, I think he can do that. I think he can win those as well. And then, of course, the final fight of the night was Jorge Masvidal taking on the champ welterweight Kamaru Usman, and Usman just really just handled him. You know, when you look at the total strikes, it was 263 to 88, but it wasn't really big strikes. The significant strikes were actually a lot closer, but he just had control over Jorge Masvidal for so long. He won, I think, 4 rounds. I think Masvidal got the first round, but 2 of the judges gave Usman all 5 rounds. And it was just a smart strategy on his part. He was not expected to fight Masvidal. It was 6 days notice, so just lean on what you're best at. You're a wrestler. You know how to win wrestling. You know that Masvidal is a striker, that a backyard brawler, game bred, you know, can come at you as one of the best boxers in all of the UFC. So Usman did exactly what he was supposed to do, and it earned him the win. Masvidal promised that he was going to run it back after he gets a couple wins and comes back. And if he comes back with a full training camp, I can definitely see that being a real issue for Usman, but or at least to where he can't just sit there and rely on that same exact strategy that he did. So I'm looking forward to that. But first, I think Usman's going to face a couple more people. There's a few people waiting in the wings for him. So that's really exciting. The last UFC thing that I wanted to bring up before I move on to something else was a prelim fight. It was the main event of the prelims, and somebody who's been in the main card many times, and that's Volkan Ozdemir. He was fighting Yuri Prochazka, I think is how you say his name. I believe he was making his UFC debut. This guy was exciting. It was fun. He was in there. He was dancing around. He was doing a lot of crazy stuff. And I had never seen him before. I'm pretty sure it was his debut. But Volkan Ozdemir was not really fazed by his crazy antics, but it did eventually lead to a hand coming out of nowhere, and Prochazka just knocked Ozdemir out. It was just a clean, man was out for a few seconds. So if you're watching the up-and-comers trying to see who's next, it could be Yuri Prochazka, and he's fun to watch. So go check that out next time he fights. It's really enjoyable. I'm glad that I was watching the prelims for that, because usually I don't watch the prelims. Now, another thing that's coming up, or that's going on right now, actually, is the basketball tournament. We talked about how it was kind of like a preliminary bubble for the NBA. They're doing a lot of that same stuff, except it's in Columbus, Ohio. But they're trying to do what they can do, but they're just kicking teams out when they get a COVID test, or a positive COVID test, which is nuts. The NBA obviously can't do that, so it's a little different. But we've made it now to the finals, and the finals will be Tuesday, the 14th. So it's a good finals. It's the Golden Eagles, which are Marquette, I believe, alumni, and then Sideline Cancer, which is a team that was not expected to win anything, but they have just rolled over these teams, which is really awesome. And they barely beat Overseas Elite, which is always my favorite team in the tournament. I always think they're going to win. So for them to do that, that's really crazy, because they were the 22 seed. The 22 seed, I believe, is last place. No, there was 24 teams. So they were the 22 out of 24 teams, and they ended up beating the first team in a comeback effort, which is really cool. I actually watched that game. And then I didn't get to watch the other ones where they kind of blew out their opponent, but then they beat Overseas Elite by 2 as well. And if you have not watched the basketball tournament, it uses this Elam ending, which makes the ending very fun. Winning by 2 does not mean holding a team off and being able to win. It means literally hitting either a 2 or a 3 to hit this target score that shares with 67 tonight to give you the win by 2. So it's very exciting. If you can watch the final on Tuesday, it's well worth it. And it's pretty cool that we got to kind of see the bubble working out in real life before the NBA had to do it. Now, the NBA bubble is officially open. They are there. We've seen a lot of posts of them fishing, doing all kinds of fun stuff, going to Disney, doing weird things. So that's pretty fun, and I hope they keep those spirits about them, because as soon as the tests start coming in and they are gonna be positive, some of them, it's gonna be a little unnerving. But the MLS has really done pretty well with that as well. But they've also been able to send teams home. They sent FC Dallas home, they sent Nashville home. The NBA really can't do that because they're trying to crown a champ. These aren't regular season games like it is for the MLS. This is, if the Lakers get some tests, you can't just send them home, because that would just end the number one seed. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm still curious to see what they are going to do with that. But you have to try, and I'm glad that they are trying, because these other sports are kind of showing that it can work. You just have to be really diligent, test a lot, be aware of false positives, because that happened. It's been happening, I guess, in the MLS's back tournament. They've said that there's a few false positives that are coming in, so that's why they have to pass or fail 2 in a row. So it's pretty crazy, but it is working, and it is live sports, and it's felt great. This weekend was awesome to be able to watch and do that. Baseball is going to be coming back in, I think, 2 weeks. The 25th is opening day, I believe. So baseball is going to be coming back. Soccer's really gearing up to be great. Like I said, the 2 LA teams are going at it tonight. So it's great. Get off your couch, or get back on your couch, I guess, and watch these things. Now, the last thing that I wanted to bring up is that it is official. It is official. The Redskins will be changing their nickname. We talked about that last week, so I don't really have to go into it too much, but they are changing their nickname, which is really cool. It's about time. I'm glad they came to a quick decision, because they need it done before the season. If the season is even going to happen, they need to do that. And so I'm very happy they did it. The Atlanta Braves, by the way, another team that is Native American linked, they are not changing their name. They did say that they're probably going to change the tomahawk chop that they do, but they are not changing the name. It's going to be the Atlanta Braves. And I think that's better. The Braves are a real, like I was saying with Seal last week, the Braves are a real tribe of Native Americans. The Redskins are a derogatory term of Native Americans. So I'm glad that cooler, smarter heads prevailed there, and Washington is finally doing that. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys here today. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about the MLS tournament, which was going to be a huge chunk, because I'm writing about it. So again, go check out noscrubsallowed.com. My posts are up there, or you can go to facebook.com/noscrubsallowed. They're up there as well. If you click them, they'll take you to the website, but you can find them there a lot easier if you just search. Or again, Twitter is @noscrubsports. So, I was about to get off, but I forgot that I saw one more thing. Rajon Rondo broke his right thumb during practice, which is pretty crazy. It's actually probably going to change the Lakers' outcome. Obviously, LeBron can run point, and he's going to run point because he's not going to be resting all that often, especially with this huge rest that he had. But to not have a guy like Rondo, a very intelligent, very scrappy player that has been proven to play great in playoff scenarios, that's going to be a rough wrinkle. And I'm going to talk to Seal about that next week, because we will have time. But, man, Rondo going down. I just hope the Lakers don't win this thing. That's the only team. The Suns aren't going to make it. I'm already resigned to that. That would be the biggest comeback in the history of sports if they end up making the playoffs, and then even more if they win. I just don't want it to be the Lakers. Anybody but the Lakers would be fine with me. So man, I mean, there's not much more to say to that. Go everyone but the Lakers. As always, be a stud, not a scrub.